audience, to the attendees of the conference, Immigration and Investment Summit?
Sure. I'm Kirthley Maginley. I'm a licensed CIP agent in Antigua and Barbuda. And my company, which is a consulting and advisory company on investment matters, it's James and Maginley. And we also associated with the Citizen Investment Program of Antigua and Barbuda.
Fantastic. Can I ask you to give us a brief summary of your program?
Yes, the Antigua and Barbuda Citizenship Program started in 2013, legislated in 2013, and so we are now moving on just about 5 years now, actually. The company, James and Maginley, which I am a part of, started at the same time with the program as well. And the program has grown leaps and bounds, and you would have heard the Prime Minister say earlier today in his feature address that it is indeed established itself as the leading program, CIP program within the Caribbean. And I fully endorse that. I've seen it grow, and as well as the others. And so we have a number of applicants now reaching out to Antigua because of the growth of that program in Antigua.
Fantastic. And what role has the citizenship program played after the hurricane specifically?
Sometimes I wonder what we would have done had it not been for the Citizenship Investment Program after that devastating hurricane that decimated our sister island, Barbuda. A number of clients, relationships, investors that are associated with the citizenship program, new citizens themselves reaching out to lend their support and their contribution to the rebuilding efforts of Barbuda. In fact, we have several of our relationships have responded positively. Even as we speak now, we have on the water heading towards Barbuda now, towards Antigua, for Barbuda, a grant of $200,000 worth of building materials, a donation, I should say, of $200,000 donation headed for Barbuda, just from one of our clients, and we had several of those. Our company, has already donated towards Barbuda and Dominica, for that matter, as part of the Caribbean that was so badly and affected by that hurricane. So yes, through the program itself and the conduits of the program, a number of donations were able to be procured, for the Barbuda hurricane disaster.
Fantastic. And what role has the citizenship program played for your country's economy?
Well, the injection of in the economy from the CIP program is just enormous. The figures are there. I think we are getting in over nearly $1 billion, into the economy from the Citizenship Investment Program. It's a small economy, and the economic turnaround within a small island economy is not as great. And so the CIP program allows for new investment, new monies, economic activity, hotels. We are associated with 2 major hotels through the CIP program. The government has the National Development Fund. Through that National Development Fund, road construction can be met, social programs can be met. Government will use those funds as they see fit as well. I know at one stage in Antigua, the pensioners were benefiting, Social Security were benefiting through the injection that came into the economy, by the CIP. And so when you have a small economy like ours, a small island economy, any injection of capital through programs like the CIP initiative certainly is welcomed. And I dare say that it has really affected us tremendously positively. Yeah.
If I'm a layperson watching, say, in India, and I'm watching this and saying I want to invest my money in a country in return for citizenship or permanent residency, how would you explain your scheme to me? Or what's the level of investment you need? How many days would I need to be resident? What would I get in return for my money? And is my money secure?
Well, interesting that you say India as an example.
Yeah.
I just returned from Mumbai, where the BLS had their conference as well. And so it's a question that, comes to me all the time. Presently, Antigua has now a national development fund option. It is normally it was $200,000 for a family of 4. Now it is now $100,000 for a family of 4.
That would be on a donation basis?
As a donation basis. Right. And add the due diligence to that and the government processing fees and, throw in a few bobs for my fees. Yeah. And then you're coming in with about just over $140,000 for that for a family of 4. That is now on a limited time offer. Expires on the 1st of November, Independence Day in Antigua.
Right.
And so we have a number of people now, a cluster of people, making that particular, donation towards the National Development Fund on this limited time offer.
In return for that, do you give them permanent residency or do you give them citizenship?
What you get is citizenship of Antigua and Barbuda, with the accompanying passport of Antigua and Barbuda. That passport allows for you to travel to 150 countries and counting, visa-free. Right. So you'll have visa-free access to that quantum of countries around the world.
Including the USA?
The USA, we still have to get a visa to the USA, but the Antiguan passport allows you visa-free to Schengen countries as well.
And so, UK, I believe.
And the UK, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the processing times on this? Because you say you've got a fair rush.
Yes, there is. The CIP unit in Antigua, which is the government body that manages the program, they have increased their staffing. They are much more experienced than when they started, of course. And so they give in their brochures and all their various promotional material 90 days for the approval of an application. And so, but all things being equal, that is it. But you could possibly, all things being equal, get an approval within 60 days. We have gotten in 45 days.
And finally, is there a residency requirement?
There is a residency requirement in Antigua at the moment. There are efforts by the CIP unit as well as the government to enhance that residency program. You would have heard the Prime Minister speaking about that earlier this morning as well. And so I believe, and certainly as a licensed CIP agent, that I would be advocating for the residency program to be part of the CIP initiative. Because as an agent, more and more, we are finding the question of residency coming to us. And in fact, there are some countries that do not necessarily require a second passport citizenship, but because their country themselves do not have dual citizenship. So the residency initiative may very well be a good option, to be tagged on as an ancillary to the CIP program itself.